wmctrl is a tool that I recently came across that I'd like to share because I think it's a strong tool. It's a command line tool that essentially allows you to manipulate windows and move them around your screen and resize them all in the terminal. And in and of itself, that's not powerful, but it can be if we script it. For now, let me just give you an example. I'm going to pull up a browser and we're going to do something simple like make it full screen. So first we'll call it. Then we reference the window we wish to manipulate. You do that with -or, then the name. Try to pick something that's unique. For example, if we were on our web page here, there's Mister, there's Daylight, there's YouTube, there's Brave. I could have other browsers open. Maybe they're on YouTube, so that's not a good keyword. I also could have some other kind of windows open that have my username in them, which I also wouldn't want to use. So try to use something that's unique. So I know I'm only running one browser, Brave browser here, so it's fine to use Brave. So let's say we want to make it full screen. You -B, bravo, you add full screen, in quotes separated by a comma. Now, full screen is a toggle option, so you could actually say toggle as well. And you could activate that over and over again. We could also remove it if that's exactly what we wanted to do. So let's manipulate the window in a more specific way. Let's say we want to put it on a specific part of the screen and at a certain size. And we do that by first calling it again, referencing Brave, and now -E, echo, for this option, which is in commas again. You start off with 0, which is just the gravity of the window, and from here on we're going to be using basic X and Y coordinates for both the location and the size. So the first real number is the X coordinate of the window. This is the horizontal location that you want to place the window on. It considers the top left of the window, if we were to grab it with a mouse, as the anchor point. So you're moving it, if you were to say put it at 0, which is over here, maybe on your monitor. I am running two monitors, so 0 is not there, it's further off screen. Let me just show you. 1024 would be the very left of this screen here for me. Might be 0 for you. And then we want the vertical position, which for now, let's say 0 again. We want it at the very top. We want it at the very left and at the very top. And then the size, we're just going to say 1280 by 720. And then we close the quote. So to go over again, you just start off with 0 for gravity. Then your horizontal position, which for me is 1024. It could be 0 for you. 0 would put it on the very left. 0 because we want it at the very top, as in no pixels down. And then the size of it, which is very simple. For example, if you were to put in your monitor, like maybe 1920 by 1080, that would make it almost full screen. It wouldn't make the window toggle to full screen, but it would make it fill up your whole screen. So let's go ahead and execute this. There we go. It has moved to the top left of this screen and set it to standard HD, or minimum level of HD. So this is all well and good, but it seems pretty unnecessary. We can usually get most of this functionality through using our mouse or using shortcuts on our keyboard. What we want to do is add these commands to a script. That way we can actually find some use out of this tool. So let's go ahead and make an example script. We'll call Window Manager Control and reference Brave. We'll -E to manipulate its location and size. We'll give it the same coordinates as we did last time. 0 gravity. 1024 for me, the very left of my screen here. At the top, and again 1280 by 720. Now, running this script will just do exactly what we did before. So let's do something a little bit different. After this executes, which is the and symbol, we'll sleep for 2 seconds, and after that executes, we'll move it again. We can go a line down here. Again, we have to reference it. Actually, you know, we can copy this to save some time. Right. But this time we'll maybe change the position. Instead, we'll put it to the very right of the screen. Now, this is a bit easier if you only have one screen, but even with one screen, it can be hard to tell exactly where you want to put it. So the best way is to just experiment, outright run the commands in the terminal. Experiment with the locations, let's say 2000, or you can use simple math. So how do we find the center of the screen? If this is a 1920 by 1080 monitor, super simple. 1920 divided by 2. There, that's the middle of your screen, the 960. If you're using multiple windows, a little bit more complicated than that. Just take the width of your monitor that you want to work with. For this, it's 2560, and divide it by 2. And if you have any extra monitors, just look at this here. Here's my main monitor, 2560 by 1440, plus the 1024. So once you've divided it by half, which is assuming you want to get to the center of it, just add on the 1024. And that's the center of my screen. So let's test that out. Window Manager Control, reference Brave, E, 0 gravity, 2304, 0, 1280 by 720. There, it's on the right side. So let's go back to our script. You can see I've already filled it out. To explain what's going on here, we're calling Window Manager Control, referencing Brave, setting its position in here, which is the top left at first, and then we're sleeping for 2 seconds with the and, which means the next command will only activate if the previous command does. This keeps things in sequential order. After it's done sleeping for 2 seconds, it will go to this position, which is the top right, and then the bottom left, and then the bottom right. So let's try run this. Top left, top right, no input from me. Bottom left, bottom right, all in HD. Brilliant. Well, okay, cool, but this doesn't have any real world use, right? Well, let's find a real world use. So here's an example of a more functional script. We're doing more than just moving the windows around. We're actually launching the applications themselves. For example, we're launching a browser here. Then we're passing in the URL we want it to open, and using the and sign, which means simultaneously we're going to open this graphic text editor called Kate, and we're going to tell that to open a specific text file, and again simultaneously we're going to sleep for 4 seconds, and after the seconds are up with the double and sign, that means the rest of the things here will only activate after this sleep is done. Form all of our window movements. Now let me walk you through some of these. These are all important so that you don't run into errors. You remove full screen and you remove maximized vertical, which avoids problems with maximized applications. For example, let's open Kate here, and we're going to full screen it using keyboard shortcuts, Windows key and up, and it works with left and right too. So let's just go, maybe you've maximized there, or maybe you've pressed this button, it doesn't really matter. wmctrl might have some trouble with it now. Watch this. We're going to say move it to the usual place, which is the top left of the screen, and just make it 500 by 500, doesn't really matter. It's not working. So if we bring it down to size, if we unmaximize it and then perform this, now it seems to work. But if we maximize it and then perform this again, it doesn't work again. It has to not be full screen. It has to not have some other property toggled on for it, otherwise it will ignore the other commands. So that's why in our functional example, we call wmctrl, we reference the window we're working with, and we remove full screen, and then we remove full screen with Kate, and then we remove maximized vert with Kate, and remove maximized vert with Brave as well. Or you can do them all at once. You can just do Brave, 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 Kate, 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 whatever. It doesn't matter. You can clean your script up as you wish. And only after you've made sure it doesn't have any of these toggles on, then you move the windows exactly where you want them. So again, once again, going over it, very simple. We're launching our programs and just passing some parameters to them, and we're doing that simultaneously. And simultaneously sleeping, and then only after it's done sleeping, we move our windows. We manipulate our windows with wmctrl. The sleeping is very important because things can take a while to launch. Depends on how fast your system is. It depends on what you're launching. It can be instantaneous, or it can take a few seconds. So adjust the sleep as you need it. So let's try this. It launched both. There we go. It launched both the applications and positioned them in a way that's functional to us. We might be making notes on a report or a project or something like that. Look at this cool site or whatever, and we'll save that. And let's say we're working throughout the day and we end up messing it up. The windows are all over the place again, and we close them. And again, functional example, and we're back. And not only are we back with the right window positions, it's opened the file again, see? So we can add more notes. Make that a bit bigger maybe. So this is very useful if you perform the same task or use the same software every day in the exact same manner. Like, I want these 3 programs open with these 3 files and I want them in these positions. You can do that with wmctrl. But even better, we can actually assign this to a hotkey. If it's something you do so much that you don't want to even go into the terminal and activate that script, we can assign it to a hotkey. Most distributions and desktop environments will have some kind of a shortcut system, custom shortcut system. So we're just going to go shortcuts, keyboard shortcuts on, this is on GNOME. We're going to right to the bottom here, so we'll make a shortcut. We'll just call it functional example. The command is the important bit. We're just going to run the script we made. Now you'll need to paste in the full path of where you've kept the script. I suggest having a folder specifically for these kinds of scripts. And our one was called functional example. And then we'll set the shortcut to something. I have macro keys specifically for this, so we'll add that. And hopefully this works with one key pressed. There we go. In one key, it has opened what we needed on what we needed.